Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting a 20-17 victory on the road against 13-win team last season in the Minnesota Vikings. Now, while they started slow, it was 10-10 at halftime. Baker Mayfield, although the stats, it's not going to blow you away. Bake only threw for 173 yards, but he threw 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, extremely important statistic, and he showed me what we knew about Baker Mayfield. The dude is as gritty as they come. He's as gritty as they come. And we talked about it all summer. Look, Baker Mayfield has the best weapons of his entire career. The best weapons of his entire career. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, one of the best defenses in the National Football League that a lot of people forgot about. A lot of people didn't recognize how injury-riddled that Buccaneers team, specifically their defense, was last season. Baker Mayfield, he's 28 years old, the 2018 first pick in the first round. Look, man, you ask a Browns fan, they're thinking this could be a great Buccaneers season. And I know a lot of Buccaneers fans are thinking the same thing. So obviously in today's video, we're going to be talking a little bit more about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, taking a little bit more of a deeper dive into that Vikings game. So some first things, Baker Mayfield is a winner. The dude is a winner. I know he hasn't had the best success winning in the National Football League, but we know his mindset. We know his grit and his determination. The dude's quite literally the perfect veteran, we're using air quotes here because he's 28 years old, for this Bucs team. I mean, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the division, in the NFC South, they could 100% win the division. They could 100% be a 10-win team. Baker Mayfield could 100% be resurged, win comeback player of the year, and you're looking at last year's Seattle Seahawks. 100%. One thing that's going to help out Tampa Bay severely that we need to see more of is a better rushing attack. We saw 33 total rushes from the Buccaneers offense, just 73 yards, averaged only 2.2 yards per carry. Rachaad White, 17 carries, 39 yards. We're going to talk a little bit more about him in just a second, but before we do, if you guys enjoy daily NFL content, well, you've come to the right place. Hit that like button, hit that sub button if you haven't already. Let's try and get this video to 500 likes. That would mean the absolute world to me. If you want more Buccaneers videos, definitely let me know down below. But as we know, a running back is a quarterback's best friend. And if Baker Mayfield, here's the thing, man. If the Buccaneers, let's say, score on like 50% of their opening drives this upcoming season, they'll be over 500. Baker Mayfield, you give Baker Mayfield the lead, you give him a 7-0 lead after the first possession of the game, and he's going to do what he needs to do. A lot of Baker's career interceptions were not his fault. And we know with quarterbacks, that's why looking at interceptions is, you got to take it with a grain of salt because there are things that go into it. Players drop balls, players slip, players run the wrong routes. Things happen, and people love to look at Baker Mayfield's touchdown to interception ratio and be like, "Oh no, he's like a budget Brett Favre." Like, nah, he's not the guy. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, an intriguing K. Dot, and an intriguing rookie Trey Palmer. I know he only had 2 catches for 8 yards, but he had a touchdown. He had a touchdown in his first ever NFL game. I think Baker Mayfield's the guy to lead this team, and getting and unlocking Rachaad White, who's extremely young. He's only in his second season, averaging only 2.3 yards per carry in that game against Minnesota. Got to get him going. It's going to help out Baker so much. Just kind of get into more of, not necessarily game managing, but pretty much game managing. Not trying to throw into double coverage, just, no interceptions, no fumbles, get first downs, move the chains, put points on the board, let the defense do its thing, right? Speaking of the defense, I mean, they were all over the football. All 3 sides of the Vikings, or the Buccaneers defense, the Vikings didn't really have too many answers for. I know Kirk Cousins did throw for 344 yards, but at the end of the day, they only had 2 touchdowns. And the Buccaneers' rush defense was exactly what we thought they would be, and it's exactly what we thought they would be last season. We saw it at times last year, but once again, people don't really realize how injured that Buccaneers defense was. I think people think like, oh, they're the Los Angeles Rams of last year. They had a very similar thing where it's like they got rid of all their, stud defensive players from the Super Bowl run. No, that's not the case. There are some freaking dogs on this defensive side. Kirk Cousins, they hit the quarterback 9 times. They hit Kirk 9 times. We saw a handful of fumbles. Guys like Anthony Nelson, he had a sack. He had 3 quarterback hits. Antoine Winfield, 2 quarterback hits and a sack. We saw Shaquille Barrett, two quarterback hits. Kalijah Cansey, the rookie, with a quarterback hit. They hit him 9 times. They had 2 total sacks, but they hit Kirk Cousins 9 total times. I know the Vikings pass protection, their offensive line isn't the best, but this is exactly what I wanted to see. We knew the Buccaneers have a good defense. We know they have a good defense if they're healthy. And now there's, all these young, intriguing guys on it, like Kalijah Cansey, but I still have Devin White. I still have Levante David. I still have Antoine Winfield. I still have Shaquille Barrett. I still got Jamel Dean. I still got Vita Vea. I mean, they're loaded defensively. Shoyinka, list goes on and on. This is a top 10 defense. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were closer to 5 than 10. And if Tampa Bay offensively can do what they did in that Minnesota game, don't turn the ball over. Move the ball down the field. Get first downs. We'll see the running game. We'll see it improve. We'll see Baker Mayfield improve. Like, he wasn't perfect. Only 177 yards on 73 yards. We'll see it. We'll see those 200 plus, 100%. So you got to be patient, but a win is a win in the National Football League. And another thing that's important to keep in mind is it's the first week of the regular season. And what I mean by that is we saw it all across the league outside of teams maybe like Dallas, who put up 40 on New York. The Packers put up 38. 28 of those were in the second half. It's week 1. I mean, it's week 1. I remember Joe Burrow throwing like 3 interceptions week 1 last season. I mean, the Bengals just lost. They got demolished by the Browns. Offenses take time to click. Specifically, the offensive line. That's the positional group in the National Football League on all 3 sides of the ball. That's the positional group that takes the longest to click, the offensive line. So, all things considered, I think it pretty much was as good of a win as I could ask for. Obviously, add 20 points if it was a 40-17 road victory against the 13-win playoff Minnesota Vikings. I mean, that would be awesome. But hey, a win is a win, and I'm going to take it, especially in this division. The NFC South, big game against the Chicago Bears at home this upcoming week. Sunday at noon or 1 o'clock Eastern time. It's going to be a good game, man. If Tampa Bay can win that game, 2-0, you got the momentum. You head into a tougher stretch of the schedule, some big divisional opponents. You are at home against Philly. You go to New Orleans, home against Detroit, home against Atlanta. Tough stretch of the schedule coming up here. A win against Chicago is exactly what this Tampa Bay team needs, because as we saw it on the road week 1 against the Minnesota Vikings, this is an upset team. People think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were either going to be the second worst team or the third worst team. That's not going to be the case. They're going to get some sneaky wins. They can beat any team on their schedule. You just got to execute, and you cannot turn the ball over. You got to really limit turnovers. Let the defense do its thing. Get the ball into the hands of your playmakers, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, etc., and you'll win 9 games. At least. So that's it for today. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button. If you guys want more Buccaneers content, definitely let me know down below. But Bucs fans, NFL fans, if you watched that game, give me a team grade rating for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in their opener against the Minnesota Vikings. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.